Hi, I'm Harkaran Singh.
Pinder.
Chris Wong.
And we're here from the Berkeley Political Review, here to examine three things: the GOP primary candidate race, who's winning, and the current state of affairs.
So, let's get started. What we're going off of right now is the past performance of the front-runners, in other words, anyone who is posing a current challenge to Romney as of the November 9th debate at Oakland University in Rochester, Michigan. Let's start with some major trends we've learned from this particular debate, Harkaran.
Well, I think we can eliminate two or three candidates from the start. I think Santorum and Bachmann are pretty much dead for obvious reasons. And I think Perry, after his gaffe, is also dead. And yeah, his little three mess-up thing. But
no one can come back from something like that. Perry had... From the beginning, I wasn't very fond of him. I knew he was one of those wisecrackers, and he's got so many of these kind of smart aleck answers as opposed to actual answers. It was just bound to say something ridiculous eventually, and he's finally done it. So.
He's not a good speaker either. I think that's an important quality of presidents.
He makes a lot of very interesting gestures too. I really enjoyed his the flagpole, where he just flagpole. What was the phrase?
I'm gonna stick a big old flag in the middle of the nation and say, "America, open for business again."
Again.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't.
It's pretty corny.
It's like he's got this Texas persona, and he's milking it, and that's like all he's got. I don't understand it. But in addition to Santorum and Bachmann and Perry, I think the very next front runner that has been challenging Romney, Kane, I think by this, for a while he's been kind of digging his own grave, and this one has really finalized his tomb here. Whereas it started off, he had this 999 plan, which was already under heavy scrutiny because it was an oversimplified solution to a complicated problem, as it's been said. But he says it as a prelude to every single response he has. What is your idea on healthcare? What is your idea on the corporate tax? What is your idea on the payroll tax? Well, let me tell you about the simple answer, the 999. It's all that comes out of his mouth. I mean, he's like an action figure. You pull the string, and he says the 999, or get on the Kane train, or if they understand it, they'll demand it. It doesn't seem to have any substance. So whoever is advising him on what to say needs to be fired. But I think it's too late for him already.
It's almost like he doesn't even want to win. He's doing it for other reasons.
I don't know.
He doesn't seem to have any real policy. All it is the 999.
He's like a little action figure.
I think at one point he wanted to win and he believed he could. But after coming under all this scrutiny and realizing there's so much more than just having business experience, I think even he's realized that maybe as a vice president nominee, but now I think even that's off the table. So what other trends have we seen? I think we can finalize that these people are off.
Three people are pretty much dead at this point.
We definitely noticed the Republicans once again doing a very good job at attacking the president and not infighting. Most of the comments, especially from Bachmann, were deflections. When the moderators would try to pit two candidates against one another, they would just deflect and say, "Oh, well, look at the president. This is what the Democrats are doing. This is what Obama's doing."
Well, is that a good quality, did you say? I wouldn't say that's a good quality for outside viewers. It might not lead to internal conflicts, but for a swing voter, they might say, "Oh, well, they're not really taking any positions."
Well,
they're just anti-Obama instead of policy.
There certainly is something noble in the fact that when the moderators, and it's pretty obvious and blatant how they do it, they really try, like, Governor Romney, Perry has said this about you, what do you say to him? Like, at least to a point. I mean, Gingrich does this all the time. He even calls out the moderators and said, "This, you're trying to incite squabbling," which is somewhat their job. But to some extent, it is notable, and it is a good thing that they don't let the moderators really incite that kind of disagreement. The fact that they always go toward, well, we're all in solidarity against, we don't like Obama, maybe that's not the best way to go about it, but it's a good thing they're not letting themselves fall into that kind of squabble.
It's good for party politics.
Well, it's good for party politics, but I mean, they're not really... When the moderators do that, they want them to debate over actual issues and policies and not, just go straight to Obama or straight to the administration they're against. I really think the moderators are trying to do something so that the candidates can establish their positions, but they're not the candidates are still just going over party mantra.
But what are the differences between the candidates? I think that's
That's-
something that
yeah.
we noticed, that we...
They really don't have any differences.
No,
Well,
not
except-
particularly.
Not in the major point, but I agree with you on that one.
On most issues, these candidates across the board agreed. Sometimes the degree of their support for whatever the matter was wavered a little bit.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's
it,
true.
like in the beginning, it was a kind of a joke. Like people were just arguing who's more pro-life or who's more like marriage,
Well,
sanctity of marriage, and I think
I think there is a definite difference between the time when there were the debates with Bush, whereas the gay marriage was the big issue. Right now, it is a good thing that it's kind of more focused over business, and it is focused more over the economy. I'm not going to say there aren't any social issues going on, but there's a lot less than it was. It was ridiculous how it was being focused on during the Bush re-election time.
it would be nice, but I mean the only thing they're stating in their economic policies is they're not going to do what the Obama administration is doing, and that's really vague.